YouTube, what's happening, man? We got something new on the channel today. We got a death battle. If y'all, bro, I grew up watching death battle when I was younger, bro. This shit was my TV, bro. I used to love this, but today we got Shigaraki versus Mahito, My Hero Academia versus Jujutsu Kaisen. I already know who's gonna win because I got spoiled, but I haven't seen it, so I'm still gonna watch it. And it was kind of who I thought was gonna win anyway, because I watched both, read the manga for both. I finished JJK off of spoilers, not completely finished, but I basically finished it. I just gotta read it. And JJK is my favorite manga of all time. That, and then Bleach, and then Dragon Ball. And then I fucked with My Hero. My homie, he got me back on My Hero. At first, I liked it, and then I dropped it because like Deku was like a crybaby ass dude, bro. And I'm just like, all right, what he got going on? And then I dropped it, but I picked it back up recently after I seen him get that crazy new makeover he did, make that boy look crazy, make it look so cool. But let's get right on to this video, man. Let's see what's happening. This animation, that boy Shigaraki look cool as fuck right there. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Shigaraki versus Mahito.
The symbol of fear versus the human disaster curse.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
Yeah, this been crazy. Same intro.
Tenko
Shimura
Shimura was just a sweet, shy boy who loved superheroes.
Yep.
But sometimes the hand of fate can't abide sweet shy boys.
Ruthlessly beaten and abused by his hero-hating father, Tenko pushed beyond his emotional limits until he activated.
Boom. Okay, symbol of fear. He's 21, 5'9", 175 centimeters. Grand Commander of the Paranormal Liberation Front. Suffers from Kanite Subudia, whatever that is. League of Legends Smash Bros player. He plays Smash Bros? And he lives in a society.
His inherent superpower, or quirk.
It wasn't something cool like flight or super strength. In his terror, he accidentally killed his whole family. Well, except for dear old dad. That one was intentional.
Tenko wandered the streets alone, silently begging for someone, anyone, to help him. If only a hero was there to save him. But instead, the only open hand he found belonged to the devil.
All for one. The greatest supervillain in history.
He took Tenko under his wing, feeding a hatred of everyone and everything, and grooming him to one day lead his league of villains in destroying hero society.
With that came a new name,
Shigaraki, and that fit right there, bro. That fit that he has on right now, I hated that when he first came out. That was
and an absolutely nightmarish quirk, Decay. It does what it says on the tin. Anything Shiggy touches with all 5 fingers turns to dust.
That's a cool
the perfect power for someone who just...
This Decay quirk, bro, this is one of the best quirks, in my opinion. Just off of, like, imagination-wise. I never would have thought of this. I don't think anyone would have thought of this, other than the author. Decay, amplified through hands and feet. Citywide range. Disintegrates physical matter. Disintegrates energy attacks. Fear. He has fear aura and reactive evolution. If that goes through his feet, he literally can disintegrate the ground as he's walking, bro. Or he can block with his feet and straight up. If he sit like, bro, think about it. If he punches you, if somebody punches him and he blocks it with his feet because he's on the ground, your whole arm is gone. Like out of nowhere, but that's crazy.
Just wants to destroy. Pretty menacing, if not for that dorky ass costume. I get it, hands are his thing, but come on,
so bad.
He just looks so dumb and fake.
Oh, those aren't prosthetics. Those are real hands from his family.
I did not know
that he killed.
I promise you,
attached to his face, and explicitly commanded to be left there by his mentor so that he would never forget his rage.
Okay.
While his use of Decay started off relatively weak, it rapidly increased in power and range as Shigaraki came into his own.
Decay isn't even limited to whatever he's touching. Anything that touches something he's decaying also decays.
Spreading like an all-consuming miasma that can wipe out anything from an enormous tower to an entire city.
If decay reaches you, your only hope is to isolate the body part that is disintegrating before it gets to something vital.
After years of training with the greatest supervillain of all time, Shigaraki was finally put in charge of his own team with one mission. He must kill his master's rival, the #1 hero, All Might.
Only to fall flat on his face.
Shigaraki was a terrible leader, quick-tempered, short-sighted, and, well...
Cringe. He's just so...
Is that the hero killer Stain?
Terrible leader, quick-tempered, short-sighted.
Stain was that nigga, bro. Stain was that nigga. He had, like, literally in the manga and in real life, Stain had everybody on his side, bro.
And, well...
Stain was that nigga.
He's just so cringe. He uses gamer lingo unironically. He whines like a baby when things don't go his way. He's the kind of guy who would say normie in real life, in front of normies.
But they say defeat is the greatest teacher of all. Only through struggle could Shigaraki manifest his dark conviction.
Right as All Might's new protege, Izuku Midoriya, was coming into his own as well.
These two rivals, the inheritors of their master's blood feud, would push themselves past their own limitations.
Especially when All Might and All For One double KO'd each other, leaving Shigaraki to lead the League of Villains all by himself.
And with the stakes higher than ever before, Shigaraki stepped up. He personally battled the monstrous Gigantomachia for a month and a half straight, and conquered other villain organizations to create the Paranormal Liberation Front. Thousands of new soldiers for his personal army.
All to impress All For One's personal quack, Dr. Ujiko, who spent months upgrading Shigaraki's body to make it more like his sensei's. It might have been constant agony, but Shiggy went from Chud to Chad.
Ujiko's experimentation vastly increased Shigaraki's strength, speed, and durability, enough to match and surpass even All Might's absurd power.
Sharing All Might's power between them, Deku and Bakugo were able to punch an island-sized hole in a cloud that reached 24 miles into the sky. We've calculated that before to be nearly 80 million megatons of TNT, almost as much as the meteor that wiped out the dinosaurs.
And Shigaraki can now move fast enough that his body produces hypersonic shockwaves and can even catch laser beams.
And he's tough enough to survive Star and Stripes Intercontinental Ballistic Cruise Punch. Now the new name for my penis. Move over, gigantic Omega Storm. Anyway, it also made a blast so big it showed up against the curvature of the Earth.
Though he might seem invincible, when Shigaraki's body is pushed hard enough, he will evolve into a state of uncontrollable power.
So decay became shit.
Shigaraki can spontaneously generate flesh into existence, seemingly oceans of it in an instant, whenever he wants. He can even use it as a type of armor to defend himself in close combat.
But that's nothing compared to Ujiko's greatest gift. Shigaraki wanted to be the new All For One, so what better way than the old man's quirk?
All For One's quirk, All For One, allows its user to steal and store quirks with just a touch.
And All For One has hundreds of them stored up.
This? I do not remember this. What is this? This looks terrible, bro. This looks horrifying. This looks like that monster from Lords of the Fallen that's a baby. And this just looks like a naked mole rat monster. What the fuck, bro? I don't remember seeing this at all.
Over the years,
each quirk is connected to a memory of its user's essence in the form of a spirit, a vestige.
Kind of like a piece of their soul. They exist in this kind of psychic world in Shigaraki's body, and can even act as a spiritual defense should it be invaded.
And with those vestiges came quirks.
All right, here's the breakdown for All For One's quirk: air cannon, danger sense, flight, heavy payload, radio waves, reflect, scatter, warping, and many more. Vestiges, telekinesis, super regeneration, spring-like limbs, search. Yeah, it's over. Search. If that search quirk lets him search out like people and stuff that are hiding, OP. Telekinesis, he literally can just scan the area for people's minds. In danger sense, if somebody's out to get him, that's OP.
Like
that's
super
OP.
Fast healing, air blast, radio waves,
like
flight, telekinesis, teleportation of others, and the ability to track foes.
He can even combine multiple quirks together, like in this big-ass electric Kamehameha.
However, any vestige stolen or destroyed will also remove that quirk from Shigaraki's repertoire. They're also sentient, and some can even fight for control.
Which is when the second shoe finally dropped. Because Shigaraki also got All For One's vestige, that means All For One was now in possession of a shiny new body that he'd spent the last 15 years molding for him to take over.
Shigaraki's entire existence was planned from the beginning. Why? Because All Might's previous mentor was Nana Shimura, Tenko's grandmother.
Oh, that to mess with All Might, that is some next level.
Okay. Here are the feats. Destroyed Dekai City, fought, for 1.5 months, caught laser beams, quite literally, which is impossible. Proved the legitimacy of Quark Singularity Doomsday Theory. I don't remember that. Could decay all of Japan in a week. I do remember that. Defeated Redestro Star Stripes. Yep. Eraserhead, Mergo. Yep. And Bakugo. My nigga Bakugo, bro.
Level hating right there.
He manipulated Shigaraki's entire life, all for one purpose: to create a soul so corrupted it would grind away at All Might's perfect world, allowing All For One to take full control.
But All For One's possession wasn't complete, and Shiggy managed to fight his way back to the top, literally decaying his way through.
Look, these panels, amazing, bro. I think it was Noshikami. I think that's who made this anime, bro. This artwork is amazing,
is in
bro.
the process,
Like
all to fight his rival Deku one last
bro.
time.
Despite
Like,
Izuku's best efforts to save him, Shigaraki was too far gone. His spirit decayed by years of venomous hatred.
And the new symbol of hope defeated the new symbol of fear, burying All For One's grudge for good.
All that Shigaraki asked was to be remembered as the heartless destroyer he was raised to be, and not the broken, angry, crying little boy he really was deep inside.
For just that one moment, though, Shiggy got in Deku the only thing he'd been denied his whole life, the one thing his lifelong nihilistic tantrum was really all about. He got a hero who tried to save him.
What do you see?
A planet surrounded by stars and asteroids in the
Ever since Cain slew his brother Abel and wetted his fields with his blood, man's greatest fear has been his fellow man.
But what if this fear took on a life of its own?
What if all that negative emotion humans felt for one another spilled from their bodies and congealed, forming, over time, a living being fueled by malice, which believes in nothing but the law of the jungle?
Well, then you'd have the special grade curse with the
This
patch
nigga
face,
Mahito was a problem.
Oh,
And he
I've had
didn't
people
even
tell me
care
I'd
what he
become a
was
human
doing.
disaster curse when
Like, he
I've had
didn't
too many
care.
mojitos.
Mahito is one of the deadliest
Mahito, aka Patchface, a few months old, 5'11", unregistered special grade curse, leader of the disaster curses, fan of J.R.R. Tolkien. What is that? Name means true person, lives in a society. That's cool. True person. That's a gas-ass name. But only a few months old, bro, and he was putting in that work. He was causing that much havoc at a few months old. Are you serious, bro? If he wanted you out of there, he would have done it himself. Y'all seen the memes, bro? But like, bro, he was really that guy, though.
beings to ever afflict mankind. He's no mere mortal, though, but a cursed spirit.
He was a
Innumerable
demon,
spirits
a
exist,
living
weaker
demon.
or stronger, depending on the amount of anxieties, jealousies, hatreds, and fears humans feel about them.
Like the fear of locusts, kinda weak. Or the fear of smallpox, getting stronger. Or the fear of fire. Oh, goodbye, Tokyo.
Yeah,
So it follows that mankind's fear of itself would be extremely powerful. Those negative emotions
crazy.
manifest as Mahito, a being composed of cursed energy.
It's basically like evil ki. Cursed energy can be used to make spirits way stronger, faster, and tougher than any normal human. And it's invisible,
Nanami was on
making
his
curses
own.
like Mahito impossible for the untrained eye to see. Only a life or death situation can galvanize a normal person to see a cursed spirit.
That also makes cursed spirits
remember that from
virtually
episode
immune
1.
to physical damage. They may be physically present in space,
Okay.
but can
This is the physiology. I've never actually seen that word before. Physiology. Okay. This is the cursed physiology, bro. Superhuman physicality, partial invulnerability, invisibility, combat adaptability, cursed energy, bro. Black flash, barrier techniques, curtain, binding vows, and auto-regenerative reserves. Oh yeah. He pops stuff like a perk, bro, and he just heal, which is insane. And the invisibility part is like, think of it as a soul reaper. You can't see a soul reaper unless you've, I believe, it's encountered death, or you're a soul reaper yourself, or you have soul reaper powers. Same thing with this. They have invisibility because they're a cursed spirit, and unless you're able to see cursed spirit, a regular human cannot see them whatsoever, bro. So it's like you're looking at thin air. Basically like ghosts, literally.
Can only be harmed by attacks that embody spirit matter like cursed energy.
Which makes curses insanely hard to get rid of, like ghosts, cockroaches, or my ex. That's why you need a Jujutsu sorcerer to come in and Kaizen the shit out of them. They call it exorcism, but I like the way I said it better.
Curses and sorcerers have battled each other for millennia, waging an endless war over the fate of humanity. Almost exclusively in Japan, though, for some reason.
But Mahito was special. You see, most curses are basically dumb animals, but Mahito has so much cursed energy that it gave him sentience.
So he was recruited by Kenjaku alongside other special grade disaster curses to wreak havoc upon the world. In fact, they made Mahito their leader.
And even more frightening than intelligence and bloodlust, Mahito possessed philosophy.
Perhaps informed by the tragic meaninglessness of interhuman conflict, Mahito is an existential nihilist, believing in nothing but his own will to power. It's a dog-eat-dog world, and Mahito is the wolf.
Which also makes him kind of a goofball. If nothing matters, why not have fun with the slaughter? Really get your steps in. He loves to dig around and toy with your emotions like a cartoon character before slitting your throat.
An appropriate analogy considering his curse technique, idol transfiguration.
Using his cursed energy, Mahito can control anyone's soul with just a touch, including his own. In fact, he's so good at manipulating his own soul that you can't even kill the bastard without directly targeting it.
In Jujutsu Kaisen, the soul and the body share an immutable connection. Whatever happens to the former affects the latter.
This lets Mahito squash, stretch, and shape-shift his body into literally anything he wants.
Okay, this is what ideal transfiguration can do. As y'all can see right here, this man made his forearm into a needle, his hand and forearm into a needle or a lance. So he got soul manipulation, shape-shifting for offense, reshaping the soul and bodies of opponents, reshaping his soul to fix damage, OP, cloning, soul multiplicity, body repel, domain expansion, self-embodiment of perfection, 0.2 second variation, instant body of distorted killing, enhanced physicality, exoskeleton with blades. I won't say anything about that, but just know when I seen that leak, I'm talking about like leak in the manga back then. That was my favorite. He became my favorite once that leaked, bro. That form of his just looks so amazing, bro. It's up there with Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta and Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. That's no. Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta does exist, but I'm saying like Super Saiyan Blue. Super Saiyan Blue, Super Saiyan 4, Gogeta. If that was to exist, it would be up there, bro. Like that's how gas that form is. And the cloning, I don't know if like his health splits up or if it makes him weaker. I don't know, like if the clones are weaker or something. I can't remember.
Play-Doh,
I think
he can turn his limbs into blades or clubs, grow wings like a bird or fins like a fish, reform his body around injuries, or even create clones.
Curse users are naturally unharmed by their own ability. Should he touch a human, though, his alterations to their body are
insane. I forgot he did
unharmed by their own ability. Should he touch a human, though, his alterations.
This man turned the whole human being into a sword and made his face the hilt with his tongue becoming the blade. Are you serious? And his whole body is the handle. That's a different type of demonic, bro.
To their body are instantly fatal.
And since he's attacking your soul, those physical wounds are gonna be impossible to heal.
Even if his alteration isn't directly fatal, the human body won't last more than a few moments in a transfigured state.
Oh, that with one touch! God, I thought herpes was bad.
His powers mean Mahito treats humans as effectively disposable dolls that he can gleefully experiment on. The more casualties, the better, especially if he gets to break your spirit first and watch you suffer.
Even more twisted is when he combines two transfigured humans together for soul multiplicity, essentially a giant torrent of body horror flesh that he repels at an opponent. Ugh.
Mahito is unbelievably creative with his application of idol transfiguration, and despite being a newborn curse, consistently keeps experienced sorcerers on the back foot.
It helps that he's a quick study who's picked up a number of different curse techniques, like the Black Flash.
By applying cursed energy within 1 microsecond of an impact with an enemy, space itself will distort, exponentially amplifying its force by a factor of 2.5.
Not only does this hurt like a mother, it restores your curse technique and gets you fully in the zone.
And would require reflexes moving nearly 1,000 times the speed of sound.
What was the range?
In the zone.
And would require
the range is
by reflexes moving nearly 1,000 times the speed of sound. It's no surprise then that Mahito also unlocked the pinnacle of sorcerer techniques, the domain expansion.
Oh shit! More hands! A domain is like a barrier of cursed energy, but if you're caught inside, Mahito can use idol transfiguration instantly without even needing to touch you.
It's called the self-embodiment of perfection, the ultimate expression of Mahito's absolute control over his victim's body and soul. The only time it ever failed was against the student sorcerer and Mahito's archenemy, Yuji Itadori.
Because not only was Yuji a barf-inducing goody little two-shoes who believed in the inalienable rights of all living things, blah, 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 he also had a curse inside of him.
The king of curses, Sukuna.
Which meant Mahito's ability affected both souls in Yuji's body. Sukuna didn't like that. No surprise, and kicked Mahito's ass, forcing Patchface to fight with a handicap whenever facing his pink-haired menace.
Yuji's belief in the value of human life flew directly in the face of the world that Mahito knew to be cruel and meaningless. So he made it his mission to crush Yuji's spirit before killing him, murdering his friends, defiling their corpses, and brutally battering him before going in for the kill.
And he's got the strength to do it. Mahito's one of the most powerful curses in the world, and his growth is exponential.
Fellow disaster curse Jogo was able to summon a massive meteor capable of reducing the city of Shibuya to ash.
That'd take an energy of over 800 kilotons of TNT.
And Mahito can take as good as he can give, especially when, in the throes of struggle against Yuji, he evolved, unlocking a vastly more powerful form.
Look
the
at
instant
that boy.
body of
You can't say he ain't cold. You can't say he not cold.
distorted killing.
Complete with armored exoskeleton and arm blades. This was a taste of the almighty.
Look. Just look at him. And then he has a ponytail as if he's a ninja or something, bro. Like, bro, he's so cold with that, bro. He landed a Black Flash. 1,000 humans survived Gojo's unlimited void. Tanked numerous Black Flashes from Yuji and Todo, not one but two. Slammed Yuji and cratered the ground. Defeated Nanami, Ultimate Mekamaru, Nobara, and Todo.
The curse Mahito was growing into a true blight on all mankind.
It wouldn't last. In a bitter battle of resolve, Yuji won out. In a dog-eat-dog world, there was now a bigger wolf.
So he tucked tail and ran away like a bitch. And what do you know? Life suddenly became a whole lot more meaningful the second it looked like it was about to end.
All that gleeful nihilism, just a bitter hypocrisy in the end.
For him, maybe, but Mahito found a convert in his archenemy. After a battle that wiped out thousands of innocent people, Yuji's youthful spirit was gone. The only thing left that mattered was exorcising this curse.
In a way, that was Mahito's final victory, the destruction of another human being's soul. He may not have been around to see it, but the curse Mahito inflicted on the world would bring it to its knees.
Alright, y'all boys, we getting ready for the fight, bro. Hey, man, if you made it this far, give me a like, comment, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Let me know who you think, who you thought was gonna win, and who you think is gonna win. You know what I'm saying? Just let me know, bro. And if y'all want to see more death battle reactions, bro, let me know, bro. I got y'all, bro. I love this. I have no problem doing these videos, bro. Let's go, bro. Let's go, bro.
All right, the combatants
Mahito
are set,
versus
and we've run the data through all
Shigaraki.
possibilities.
It's
Damn, that game was a fail, though. I don't even know why they dropped that, because it really wasn't enough characters yet. I still don't understand why they dropped that. Okay, so this is taking place in Shibuya Trainway, Undercity. Oh, Smooth's head got popped out. Oh my god. Who was that? Oh, Mahito did that. How can he see him,
Heard of
though?
a powerful villain
I just thought about
stalking
that.
these
How can he
parts.
see him?
My organization is going to tear this putrid world down around us. We could use a freak of your talents.
Little old me. Do I want to be king of the social rejects? How about I bring them your head instead?
Fine by
That
me.
boy talking that shit.
Let's call this your audition. Sickum.
Oh yeah, the no moves. I forgot he controlled the no moves. Sweet, sweet. Slice and dice in that boy. He can make the no moves his pet if he does it. Can he do it? Yes, I knew it. Ah, they really are one and the same. Ooh, the Kamehameha. That was a W.
Did you actually just see that?
That one came back to life on his ass.
How lame!
Nah, he teased him. Got him. Oh, he's cloning. Oh, he's getting overwhelmed. He don't know what to do.
Audition over. Did I get the part?
That nigga knew. He knew the train was coming. Nah, bro, this is crazy. That's a Black Flash, isn't it? Yo, got him. He couldn't see it coming.
What a rush!
Oh, he's gonna. Yeah, he teed up. He teed up. Yes, sir. Brute versus his assassin. Black Flash win. That's 3. 4.
That all you got?
All right, bro, let's go.
expansion.
We're back into it. No, bro, let's go back. Let's go back. I was about to say, shit, he can be the king. Oh, you know, you can't escape that, bro. You can't escape that. It's over for you. What you gonna do now?
Need your soul.
You're just a scared little boy whose daddy is mean and wants to make it everyone else's problem. Grow up.
Hell nah. I don't know what he's doing. Oh, he brought him into the thingy.
My masterpiece.
That's insane. He just decayed his domain expansion.
I felt your soul too. You only hate humanity because you were born that way. Totally
Oh,
random.
that nigga running.
I hate them for
No
a
way.
reason.
No way.
You grow up.
Damn. I like how they made him use all his abilities though.
What did I say, Wiz? Like a bitch.
With their complex power sets, this match was a puzzle to figure out, which is why we're breaking it down to 3 categories: physical stats, survivability, and their powers.
But first, let's
Survivability,
address one thing.
Shigaraki
Couldn't
is not
Shigaraki
there.
even
I know that
see
for a fact.
Mahito? He's an invisible curse after all.
Cursed energy and quirks are notably different, and
Exactly.
Shigaraki wouldn't be able to see curses normally. However, even regular humans can spontaneously develop the ability to see curses in life and death scenarios. And with the search quirk, Shigaraki would have had no problem tracking it.
So seeing Mahito wouldn't have been an issue. With that out of the way, we can jump into their stats.
This was no contest. Despite the disaster curses being able to destroy entire cities with their cursed energy, Shigaraki scaling to Deku and Bakugo meant he was calculably millions of times stronger.
He was faster too, considering he could react to light beams beams, while Mahito's Black Flash capped out at nearly 1,000 times the speed of sound. Nothing to scoff at, but Shiggy was thousands of times faster. Shigaraki takes stats.
But survivability was a little trickier to figure out.
No,
Yep, in
Mahito
terms of
most
raw
definitely
durability,
took that.
Shigaraki was a lot tougher, and his ability to generate new flesh meant that he could heal any wounds he might receive super easy.
However, Mahito is a curse and is immune to the kind of overwhelming physical damage Shigaraki could dish out.
Yeah.
Not only that,
True.
Mahito's regenerative ability via idle transfiguration meant that he'd come back from anything short of spiritual damage.
Considering Mahito's unique curse body, he should actually get the edge in survivability.
Which
Yup.
presents a crucial question. Could Shigaraki even kill a curse like Mahito in the first place?
Or would Mahito's unkillability give him the time he needed to eventually put Shiggy down with idle transfiguration?
It all comes down to their powers.
Shigaraki
I
had a
don't
lot
wanna
more
know this.
variety with all of the crazy quirks All For One had collected over all the years.
But that is-
none that
that
we
is
know
really
of could
cheating though,
properly
bro. He
kill
has
a
a whole
curse. That
crazy
didn't
arsenal,
mean idle
bro.
transfiguration was a surefire bet either, though.
Of all things, Shigaraki's vestiges served as a spiritual shield from the effects of idle transfiguration. The fact that Mahito could not avoid targeting Sukuna while attacking Yuji meant that he couldn't target specific souls inside a person.
And
Yeah,
Shiggy
that's why
has
All For One
hundreds of
was right
soul-like
there.
entities inside of him. Sure, each one down means he loses a quirk, but that's more than enough time to land a single hit with Decay, especially considering how much faster Shiggy is.
And Mahito has no way to defend against Shigaraki's primary quirk. Decay has affected spiritual beings in the past. Again, vestiges. In fact, he was able to damage Deku's vestige and have that damage transferred to the Deku in the real world.
Mahito may be made of
That I
spirit
did not
energy,
know.
but he still has a physical form. In
Damn,
fact,
damn.
sorcerers that couldn't naturally target the soul were able to fight him on even footing. No reason to think Shiggy wouldn't decay him like everyone else.
Giving Shigaraki the third and final
That's true,
edge.
bro. That
It
is
was
true.
a unique duel
Just
to the
because-
death, but Shigaraki's overwhelming might, unstoppable
Just because
powers, and deadly
Shigaraki could
decay
decay
spelled the end for
vestiges
the
is how he
disaster
won,
curse.
bro.
Nothing else to say. You really gotta hand it to Shigaraki.
The winner is Tomura Shigaraki.
Next time on
Yeah,
Death
bro.
Battle.
I knew he was gonna win, but I didn't know how he was gonna win. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, bro. I feel like Shigaraki only won because of the fact that he could decay vestiges, which is that's a double-handed like diss, I'm saying, because like it's not as if he didn't have that at all that he would win, but there's no way he couldn't have that because that's in the manga. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if they didn't put that in there, that's in the manga, so he would win automatically. But if he didn't have that in this death battle, more than likely he still would have won. But I feel like just because he had that ability in there, it really like solidified it, and Mahito couldn't do anything about that whatsoever just because of that. Because I feel like if he didn't have that ability in this death battle, if they didn't use that, Mahito, they would be going back and forth, and Mahito would he would almost drain him out of all his quirks. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I feel about that. But I just let me know how y'all feel down in the comments below, you know, and just like and subscribe, help your boy get up there. And then other than that, that's all I gotta say, man. I love y'all. Your boy YUK signing off.